Brute force is a term used to designate a problem-solving method that simply tries all possible permutations to crack a given problem. Because the brute force GI mode in V-Ray adopts this all possible permutations approach, it is a system that is theoretically capable of producing a perfect GI solution. The brute force GI engine, which was for a brief time called DMC GI, is a calculation method that in many ways is the opposite of the light cache system. Brute force is extremely good at picking out scene detail. It is slow when asked to calculate a high number of light bounces. It is not adaptive in any way at all. It has very few interface controls, 2 in fact, and is generally at its best when used as a primary bounce engine. Unlike the irradiance mapping and light cache systems, the brute force method recomputes the GI values for every single shaded point separately and independently from other points. No interpolation of any sort going on, no averaging across points. Indeed, there is no sharing of information between samples at all in this system. A big plus to this approach comes in the form of memory usage. The brute force method uses hardly any RAM at all whilst making its calculations. That is quite different from the irradiance map and light cache systems. Again, let's step through the calculation process of the brute force GI method. As the brute force system is also a view-dependent technique, the first rays traced from the camera into the scene are used to determine the points or samples from which the GI solution is going to be calculated. Then, if brute force is set as the primary bounce engine, multiple rays are traced from each sample point in the scene. The number of rays traced from each point will depend on the value we set in our brute force subdivs parameter. If brute force GI is used as the secondary bounce engine, then from every point on a surface hit by a primary ray, a single secondary bounce ray is traced. The number of subsequent bounces taken by that secondary ray will be determined by the value we set in the secondary bounces parameter. Well, with that basic understanding of the brute force system under our belts, let's move on now and take a look at actually putting the brute force GI mode to work, again using our interior test scene.